All right, so before I even start the video, if you want to get your face rated, make sure to DM me. I do have a bit of free time, so this will going to be one of the first videos I'm going to drop, and I'm going to make sure that anybody who do want to get their face rated, make sure to DM me, especially if you're a male. I believe my for the formula chart or the formula sheet for the male side is more accurate. Now for the female, I do need there's some things that I do need to adjust in terms of the numbering system and the ideal ranges. I'm going to just shift a couple of things there. But if you do want to get your face rated, make sure to hit me up and we can get to that. All right, so for this video, we are going to talk about the power of facial hair and how grooming can change facial appearance. So as you can clearly see, the first person that we have is Brad Pitt. Now, before I even get to that, let's talk about a goatee. So the goatee is like a beard style that features hair only on the chin, and it does not extend to the cheeks or the jawline. And it can create like a clean, defined look, known for resemblance of the hair on a goat's chin. And with the goatee, this also can change the frontal jaw angle, especially if you have like a very wide jaw. And it can also increase the lower third proportions and increases the chin projection. And it can hide a double chin. So anybody who does have a double chin or loose skin underneath that chin portion, it can hide that. So you probably can't see it right now, but he does have a little slightly loose skin right here. I'm not sure if he's tucking his chin or anything like that, but the goatee will kind of cover that. Now, when I talk about the lower third, it does increase the lower third proportions. Now, in terms of the lower third proportions, if you look closely, this is considered the lower third from the subnasal all the way down to the bottom of the chin. But instead of stopping right here, it keeps on going all the way right here. So in terms of the length, it should be 108 pixels, but it goes all the way to 121 pixels. And that's just for the distance. So it just makes your lower third appear slightly longer. So if you do have a slightly shorter lower third, maybe a goatee or a chin goatee might be the go. And then also we talked about the jaw angle, so it can make your jaw appear more narrow than what it actually is. I'm gonna let y'all know right now, it does not necessarily mean that your jaw is gonna be more narrow. It's still gonna be somewhat similar, but it gives the illusion, because all of these are illusions, so it gives the illusion that your jaw is more narrow. We can still measure it out though, but it's going to be somewhat similar at the end. All right, so for his jaw angle, I got 79 degrees. And then we're going to try out the second picture where he is clean shaven and see what angle we get. And then for the second picture, I got 93 degrees. So we have a clear difference. And this is clearly, I understand that there's a little bit of a difference in angles. This one is kind of higher up, kind of towards his forehead, while this one is almost towards like the middle of his face. So of course this one is going to be more wider. It's going to make his face appear more wider, while this one will make his face appear more narrow. So angling does matter, but you can clearly see based off of looking at both of these that the chin hair itself does make the face appear more narrow. All right, another person that we're going to look at is a person by the name of Chris Brown. So Chris Brown does have a goatee, and what we're going to look at is how the chin goatee affects the mental labial angle, and how that mental labial angle becomes more tighter. So when we look at Chris Brown, he doesn't really have a chin, or he's known for not really having a chin, and he does this subconsciously because since he doesn't have a chin, what he can do is he can grow a goatee, and he can shape it to where it looks like he does have a chin. So let's measure it right now. All right, so in the first picture, we got an angle of 120. So I kind of expect it to be more of a tighter angle when we look at the right side of the picture. And on the right side of the picture, we got a more tighter angle at 101 degrees. Now, 101 degrees is actually is going to be outside of the preferred range, especially for males. But I guess this is what he was trying to achieve anyway. Now, it's going to be a little bit different, especially for black men, because black men do have lower lips that are more projected forward and more protrusive, so it can kind of lower that angle naturally just because of the lower lip. But for most ethnic groups, having a chin, especially a more projected chin, will make you have more of a tighter mentolabial angle, so that's very important. All right, so next we have is a mustache, and who y'all see right here is a guy by the name of Chris Pratt. And so for the mustache, it refers to like facial hair that grows right above the upper lip and directly under the nose, becoming more noticeable as it thickens and darkens over time. And the mustache can help with having like a long philtrum, and it also decreases the nasolabial angle, only useful for men with very high upturned nose. So I'm gonna show you 3 examples from 3 different celebrities, so stay tuned, and how it can affect the side view and the front view. All right, so when we look at the mental or the nasolabial angle, because the mentolabial angle is down here, but the nasolabial angle is up here. What we are looking for is we want to have somewhere around 95 or 94 to 118. That will kind of like be our green area, and then anything less than that will be a little bit on the red area, meaning that that is angles that is not deemed to be attractive. Now, when you have a mustache that is very thick, that does change it a bit. So if you have, let's say, like a lighter mustache, that can also, instead of decreasing the angle, it will increase the angle. So the thicker the mustache, the more tighter the appearance of the nasolabial angle will be. And I'm gonna show you an example with the next celebrity. So let's measure this, and we get an angle. Let me try this again. And we get an angle of 103. Now, I understand that this is not a complete side view profile, so the accuracy is going to be a bit off, which is okay. And on this one, we have a degree that is 78, so there is a big difference. I can tell you right now, it's not going to be this tight. It's probably going to be somewhere around, I'll probably say either the high 80s to low 90s based off of this, because this is like a quarter angle. This is not like a complete side view profile, but I believe this is what he's trying to achieve, or one of the things that he's trying to achieve. So let's look at the next celebrity so we can have a better glimpse of it. All right, so for our next celebrity is Henry Cavill. So with Henry Cavill, his mustache is very, very pronounced and thicker. And I have no idea why he likes the thick mustaches that much. But let's look at the first one that's on the right, and this is him clean shaven. And we get around an angle that is close to 100 degrees, but it's technically 99 degrees, but we can call it 100 degrees. And then let's look at the left side, and we're looking at an angle that is 91 degrees, which is actually surprising. I thought it was going to be, around 91 degrees. I thought it was going to be a bit lower, but that's not the case. But yeah, it does make your nasolabial more tighter in general. So just for anybody who is thinking about having a mustache, just know that it gives it the illusion, not that it actually is, but it does give it the illusion that your nasolabial angle is more tighter. So let's look at it from the front view so we can have an idea on the things that it would change. All right, next we have Dacre Montgomery. Now I'm gonna let y'all know right now that when I did measure it from here, I couldn't really accurately do it because just the angle that it's at is gonna be harder for me to even try to attempt it. But he does have a good fill trim to chin ratio, so there's really no need to do that. It's more balanced. I thought the chin would be a little bit slightly shorter to where it might not be as balanced. But anyway, the goal for this is that if you do have let's say a slimmer or a thinner mustache that is more closer to the upper lip, it will give it the illusion that your fill trim is more shorter than what it actually is. So here, the fill trim looks like it goes halfway, versus here, the fill trim goes all the way down. So if you do have a long fill trim, or you do have, let's say, like a naturally shorter chin versus your fill trim, what you can do is you can have a mustache that's very close to the upper lip. Hopefully it can be, and then it would kind of like give it the illusion that your fill trim is shorter than what it actually appears. All right, so who we have here is Ryan Reynolds, and this is for the full beard. So a beard, like it's facial hair that grows along the chin, the jawline, the cheeks, and the neck, covering a large portion of the face. It can vary widely in length, thickness, and style, ranging from stubble to a full long beard. And Ryan Reynolds is, I mean, his beard is, I would say, somewhat more slightly on the fuller side, in my opinion, but it can be even more fuller. And for him, he does have a narrow jaw, so having a more fuller beard will help a little bit with having a thinner jawline by it increasing the bigonial width, and also increasing, or hopefully increasing, the jaw angle. And having a thick beard, especially if it's very, very thick, can hide a curved jaw, and it can also hide the neck. So let's say if you do have a very thin neck, it can eventually conceal it. Oh my God. So having a thick beard, and I'm talking about like a really, really thick beard, can conceal your neck thickness, and it can hide a couple of other things, like I said again, with the curved jaw. So let's get to measuring it, but it should be somewhat similar just by looking at these two photos. All right, so for the first picture, I got an angle of around 74 degrees. So let's see what we get on the right side. So on the right side, I got an exact same angle. So it doesn't necessarily work every single time, but for the most part, it should work, especially, like I said again, if you have a very thick beard. The thicker your beard is, the more wider it could look, depending on how you do shape the beard. And the thicker the beard is, the more it will conceal the lower portion of your face. All right, so next we have is David Beckham. So this has to do with having long sideburns. So sideburns is just a strip of facial hair that grows down each side of the face, positioned in front of the ears, and often connect to the hair or the beard. And with the sideburns, it can gives you the illusion that you do have like a longer ramus, and the jaw is more sharper, or it gives it the illusion that the jaw is more sharper because the strip of hair moves along the face vertically. All right, so normally with our ramus is slightly booked back towards the earlobe, but when you do have that long strip of hair coming down, it gives it the illusion that that is the ramus, even though it's clearly not. It just gives it the illusion that it's sharper. So it kind of looks like this. And obviously this is like a wider angle versus having it right here. So it's just that difference. The rain mist is naturally booked back, but it just gives it the illusion that it's not. And having this more of a detailed instead of stopping halfway makes the rain mist appear more longer than what it actually is. I'm not recommending anybody to do this sort of hairstyle. Obviously this looks like it's out of date, and I don't think anybody would rock this sort of style. I might see people doing the shorter, because I'm not gonna lie, this does remind me of Tom Brady type of hairstyle where his sideburns are shorter. But if you do have a shorter rain mist, maybe this hairstyle, depending on how you know how to style yourself, could work. Who knows? But yeah. All right, last but not least, we have is Shannon Sharpe. So this is going to be the soul patch. The soul patch is a small area of facial hair that grows just below the lower lip, stopping before it reaches the chin. And this has something to do with having a long chin. Now, if you do have a long chin, maybe the soul patch could work for you. I understand that this is like a older person type of hairstyle. I know that, or facial style. I know that most people won't really rock this sort of style, but for those who are thinking about doing it, make sure you might want to stay in tune. So like we have a younger picture of Shannon Sharpe, and that is 28 for the philtrum. And then we have for the chin is going to be around 73. And that will put us at 2.6. So that is actually outside of the ideal range. But if we look at it from here, that is what we're looking at, 34. And then it's going to go all the way down to the screen, really, because it doesn't have the whole thing yet. But and then that will be 72 and 34. So that will be 2.11, and that will be within the ideal range for the chin to philtrum ratio. So the chin to philtrum ratio is usually around 2 to 2.5. So him being at 2.11 is between 2 to 2.5, but this one on this side was around 2.6, almost close to 2.7. That would be outside the ideal range. And it's clearly obvious that he does have a naturally long chin, especially for relative to his philtrum. So him rocking the soul patch gives it the illusion that his chin starts right here and ends right here. So it gives it the illusion that his chin is shorter than what it actually appears. So his chin is right. His chin, or the lower lip, starts right here, but it just gives it the illusion that, you know, it actually starts right here. It just, you know, it's just something like that he probably does subconsciously without even knowing. And it's just one of those illusions that facial hair can play. And yeah, so hopefully y'all guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like. Like I said again, make sure to DM me if you want to get your face rated, especially if you are a male. I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking for the female side to make things more accurate. And yeah, peace.